I'm here because I am a roaring lion crying out righteousness. I understand that Eric Adams himself got stopped and frisked on this past Wednesday right here in New York City, that he got stopped and frisked. And I'm going to let you listen to a clip in just a second. But Eric Adams, you got a lot of trouble because in addition to the $70 million lawsuit we've already got filed in the Southern District Court, a violation of my civil rights, we're going to be bringing against you, Mr. Adams and Mr. Meeks and Mr. Vince, you are persecuting us because we do not accept LGBTQ. We're going back to court. The city has leveled its power. The power of the city of New York, the largest city in America, is persecuting Pastor Manning and the Bethelite Community Church, ATLAH, as its parent. We're going back to court. But before we do that, Eric might be in jail by then. Mr. Engineer, roll that clip.
John, I did want to ask you about these developments in the Big Apple. The New York City Mayor, Eric Adams, approached by FBI, asked him for his cell phone devices and his iPad and so on. And now there's this New York Times reporting that the FBI is probing whether or not Eric Adams was clearing some red tape for Turkey in order to have this consulate opened up in Manhattan. It sounds as though there's some smoke here.
There's more than a little smoke. I mean, FBI agents don't seize the mayor of New York's electronic equipment, and then it's sort of downplayed, by not mentioned by the mayor until it goes public through the press.
Right.
Look, you got to assume, or you don't want to make any assumptions. It's an ongoing investigation, but that this is sort of the potentially the tip of the iceberg, because a simple straw donor scheme is illegal, but usually wouldn't draw the attention of the FBI with this kind of a direct, seizure of his information. Remember, he's Brooklyn borough president at the time. He's allegedly making these phone calls about a Turkish consulate in Manhattan. But you got to assume now, while we wait for more facts and information, that there is more here than meets the eye, because that's the only way the FBI is going to seize the electronic equipment from the mayor of New York.
Yeah, that is no small thing. The FBI going up to the mayor of New York City, America's largest city, and sir, can we have your devices, please? I mean, there has to be more to come. Margaret Hoover, John Avalon, great to have Hoover back. Great to see you guys as always. Thanks so much.
The other thing is that, of course, this happened on Wednesday, and they took his devices, and he didn't report it, and he didn't let the news media know about it. He didn't even tell all of his racist friends like Al Shady Sharpton. Nobody found out about it. It happened on Wednesday, but nobody found out about it until Friday when the New York Times broke the story. But here, I want to say to you, I went down to City Hall and practically begged Mayor Eric Adams to help us. It's painful. It's torture when you're going through a foreclosure. And the foreclosure we're going through, should our church be sold at auction, we not only lose our sanctuary, our place of worship, where we baptized and dedicated babies and performed marriages and preached sermons for 40 years. We lose that. We lose the space that we use for our school, where we've graduated students that have been accepted at Yale, at New York University, at New York Law School, at Fordham University, at Cardozo Law School, at Juilliard School. We lose, our students been accepted at all those schools and more. We lose our facility of our school. I lose my home. My residence for 40 years has been in this building. I mean, we lose, it is torture. It is torment. It is death row type of sitting that we've gone through for years. And I went down to City Hall and asked to stand out in front of the City Hall building to ask the mayor if he would intervene and stop this this torture, stop this blood sucking that the Mellon Bank, that Robin Vincent James Meeks is doing. And he wouldn't help us. He wouldn't help us. And the reason why isn't because he couldn't. He's helped other churches, and the city's helped, but they're persecuting me. They're persecuting me for being who I am, being the servant of the Lord, being a preacher of righteousness, being anti-LGBTQ. They are persecuting me. One may say, well, Pastor Manny, look like what goes around cup. Looks like Mayor Eric Adams is getting his comings up too. Look like that boy gonna go to jail, because ain't no way the FBI, or he gonna get dethroned as the mayor. Ain't no way the FBI rolls up on you in the middle of Midtown Manhattan, stop your motorcade, tell your security people, step aside. They go into your vehicle, take all your devices, your cell phone, your iPad, and any other iPads or devices, and they go through them and find out what's on it. That boy is guilty. And the other thing is that this boy, if you will, Eric Adams, supposed to be so special. You know, he was hanging out with a pastor out there in Brooklyn. His pastor has also been indicted for fraud and extortion. His pastor riding around in a Rolls Royce, ain't got but 5 members, hustling everybody, had somebody come into his church and pull a false stick up. That's his pastor with the dark glasses on and the great big, if you will, hyena grin on his face. The guy, he's been arrested too. Had some people come into his church alleged that they robbed him and his wife of $1 million worth of jewelry. What the world is a pastor doing in a church with $1 million worth of jewelry between him and his wife? Then he filed a claim. The insurance company, there you go again. There's Eric over there with the hat on, cap on. Look like they want to kiss one another. Why is he holding him like that and looking at him? Why he got his mouth open like that? Anyway, so that's Eric Adams' pastor, who's also been indicted, who's also under federal charges of extortion. So I guess birds of a feather flock together. I could have told you about this boy, Eric Adams. Anyway, you should have asked me. I would have told you. I would have told you if you asked me about what he doesn't have clean hands, doesn't have a clean heart. He's a hustler. There's one final thing as a caveat, and I'll spend more time on this the next time I deal with the Eric Adams issue. But the next thing is this, is that Eric Adams befuddled and bamboozled the Jewish community of Crown Heights and soaked them for millions of dollars to pay for his campaign. He bamboozled them. I can tell you right now, I'm gonna do another story on how angry the Jews are at Eric Adams for stepping out on them and getting money from somewhere else. That's part 2 of Eric Adams got stopped and frisked. Me, I'm James David Manning, everybody. I said, I'm the Lord's servant.